Hollywood's golden age looked glamorous, but censors were constantly panicking over morals. Here are 10 classic movie moments, 1941 to 1959, that rattled the Hays Code. Number 1. The Outlaw. Jane Russell's controversial debut. When Howard Hughes produced The Outlaw, he had one clear vision, showcasing newcomer Jane Russell's figure. Though the famous haystack pose appeared only in promotional materials, not in the actual film, Hughes made sure the camera frequently emphasized Russell's décolletage throughout the movie. Hughes even designed a special brassiere to maximize her cleavage, though Russell later admitted she never wore it because it was so uncomfortable. Joseph Breen, head of the Production Code Administration, was scandalized by the film's obvious emphasis on Russell's physical attributes, calling it borderline indecent. He delayed its release for a staggering 3 years, while Hughes fought the censors. The publicity battle became legendary, with Hughes deliberately orchestrating a fake ban to generate public interest. As Russell herself later quipped, "Publicity built me a career before anyone saw the picture." When it finally reached theaters in 1946, audiences flocked to see what all the fuss was about. The film itself wasn't remarkable, but it launched Russell as a sex symbol and challenged what could be shown on American screens. Number 2. Casablanca. The Implied Night in Paris. Casablanca may be remembered for its romance and sacrifice, but censors were deeply troubled by what wasn't shown between Rick and Ilsa. In the Paris flashback sequences, the film carefully implies their romantic relationship without explicitly showing them spending the night together. Their intimate moments are portrayed through meaningful glances, passionate kisses, and implied overnight stays rather than direct depiction. The Hays Code explicitly forbade depicting adultery. Remember, Ilsa believed her husband was dead, but was technically still married. The censors insisted on dialogue revisions to maintain plausible deniability. The script carefully avoids having Ilsa explicitly state she's staying the night, instead relying on suggestion and emotional performances. Co-writer Howard Koch later revealed, "We let the audience write the scene in their heads, far more powerful than anything we could have shown." Number 3. Double Indemnity. Murder and sexual tension. Billy Wilder's noir masterpiece Double Indemnity pushed boundaries by intertwining sex and violence. The murder scene unfolds with Phyllis Dietrichson, Barbara Stanwyck, driving the car while Walter Neff, Fred McMurray, hides in the back seat to kill her husband. After the deed, they don't embrace as might be expected. Instead, Phyllis coldly walks Neff to the train station, pretending he's her husband, to establish their alibi. The production code explicitly stated that crime must not be made attractive, but Wilder knew exactly what he was doing. The entire film is charged with sexual tension between the conspirators. Their attraction is what drives the murder plot, directly connecting desire with violence in a way that troubled censors. Wilder later quipped about the film, "We made adultery look like a bad idea, but fun first." This tension between moral punishment and illicit excitement defines the film. The characters ultimately pay for their crimes, satisfying the censors' demands for justice, but not before the audience experience the dangerous thrill of their passion. Number 4. Gilda, the striptease during Put the Blame on Mame. Rita Hayworth's performance in Gilda became iconic the moment she tossed back her hair and performed Put the Blame on Mame. During this musical number, Hayworth removes just a single long glove, yet the scene was considered so provocative that Argentine censors trimmed 2 full minutes from it. Every gesture Hayworth makes suggests sensuality beyond what's actually shown. The Legion of Decency rated the film B, morally objectionable, primarily due to this performance. What made the scene so scandalous wasn't nudity, there was none, but Hayworth's unabashed sexual confidence. Hayworth herself later reflected on the role's impact with her famous line, "Every man I knew fell in love with Gilda, and woke up with me." The scene demonstrates how suggestion could be more powerful than explicit content, creating an enduring image of Hollywood sexuality that still resonates today. Number 5. The Red Shoes, the 17-minute ballet. Powell and Pressburger's Technicolor masterpiece, The Red Shoes, challenged censors not with explicit content but with psychological intensity. The film's centerpiece is a 17-minute ballet sequence filled with surreal imagery, disembodied dancing shoes, sensual close-ups, and a violent climax. The sequence was so emotionally charged that some American theaters actually cut portions of it, deeming it morbid eroticism. The ballet's surreal qualities made it difficult for censors to pinpoint specific objectionable content. Yet its overwhelming sensuality was undeniable. Renowned critic James Agee came to the film's defense, calling it a fever dream of obsession that the code can't comprehend. The sequence expresses through dance and color what couldn't be explicitly stated. Artistic passion intertwined with sexual desire, culminating in self-destruction. It represented a sophisticated challenge to simplistic moral codes. Number 6. Adam's Rib. Intimate bedroom scenes. Spencer Tracy and Katharine Hepburn's legendary chemistry shines in Adam's Rib, particularly in their bedroom scenes that pushed boundaries for married couples on screen. The film features them in bathrobes with playful physical contact, including a notable moment where Tracy gives Hepburn a butt spank. In another scene, Tracy eats a licorice gun that Hepburn had brought home, turning the prop into a suggestive moment between the married attorneys. Joseph Breen's production code office closely monitored these domestic scenes for excessive intimacy. MGM defended them by arguing that since the characters were married, their physical interactions were permissible under the code. Hepburn later commented on the characters' dynamic. "We looked civilized arguing law by day and uncivilized loving by night." The scene brilliantly captures their equal partnership through physical play, showing marriage as both intellectually and physically stimulating. A nuanced depiction that somehow survived the censor's scissors. Number 7. From Here to Eternity. The Surf Kiss. Perhaps the most iconic beach scene in cinema history, the passionate embrace between Burt Lancaster and Deborah Kerr in From Here to Eternity pushed the limits of acceptable on-screen passion. The image of waves washing over their entangled bodies as they kiss on the Hawaiian shore became instantly legendary. The Production Code Administration pushed for tighter cropping and shorter duration, concerned about the horizontal positioning and wet, clinging clothes. Columbia Pictures stood firm, recognizing the scene's power, and ultimately prevailed. The image became the film's poster and a cultural touchstone. Deborah Kerr later revealed the less romantic reality. "We spent most of that take swallowing seawater and censor anxiety." The scene's enduring power comes from its natural setting and genuine passion, a far cry from the sterile bedroom scenes typically allowed by censors. It marked a turning point in how physical desire could be portrayed on screen. Number 8. Rear Window. Grace Kelly's slow-mo kiss. Alfred Hitchcock, master of suggestion, knew exactly how to make censors uncomfortable. In Rear Window, he filmed Grace Kelly slowly leaning in to kiss James Stewart at just 2 frames per second, then projected it at normal speed to create an unusually prolonged, intimate moment. The Production Code Administration under Joseph Breen's leadership immediately identified the technique, sending a memo describing the kiss as excessive, lustful. Hitchcock, ever the strategist, trimmed precisely 1 second from the sequence, while preserving its erotic impact. This technical innovation demonstrates how directors were finding creative ways to express sensuality despite restrictions. Number 9. Baby Doll. The Porch Seduction. Elia Kazan's Baby Doll pushed nearly every boundary the production code had established. The film features a seduction scene on a porch swing, where Eli Wallach's character Silva Vaccaro psychologically manipulates Carol Baker's childlike baby doll. The scene includes Vaccaro touching her face and at one point gently grasping her neck, all with unmistakable sexual tension and predatory undertones. The Catholic Legion of Decency took the extraordinary step of condemning the film entirely, calling it morally repellent. Several states banned screenings outright, and Cardinal Spellman of New York declared it a sin even to see the film. Director Elia Kazan was unapologetic. "We put a mirror to hypocrisy. No wonder they smashed it." Tennessee Williams' screenplay deliberately exposed the contradictions in American sexual attitudes. The controversies surrounding Baby Doll marked the beginning of the end for the production code's effectiveness. Number 10. Some Like It Hot. Billy Wilder's comedy masterpiece Some Like It Hot threw multiple challenges at the censors. The yacht sequence features Tony Curtis pretending to be impotent while Marilyn Monroe attempts to seduce him with increasingly aggressive kisses. Add to this the film's central premise of cross-dressing and the famous closing line,
I'm a man. Well, nobody's perfect.
In response to learning someone is male, and it's remarkable the film was approved at all. The PCA reluctantly gave its stamp after 13 script rewrites, but the film's success demonstrated how ineffective the code had become. Curtis later joked that kissing Monroe in the scene was like kissing Hitler, if Hitler wore Chanel No. 5, but audiences were enchanted. Released just a decade before the code would be abandoned entirely, Some Like It Hot represents the last gasp of censorship against an unstoppable tide of more adult, sophisticated filmmaking. Want more old Hollywood deep dives? Hit subscribe and we'll keep unearthing the stories behind the silver screen.